Divine Noni, ஆரோக்கியத்தின் அடையாளம்.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I flew halfway across the world and I was praying to God that I would have words that would move you, that we would all be united at one, whatever I said. But I realize now coming here and feeling your love and feeling the energy in this room, I could never give you what you've already given to me. So I thank you. I thank you, Dr. Peter, for bringing me here. As Dr. Peter this morning led us into that meditation of silence, where we quieted our minds and let us go deeper within, I felt a connection with all of you. And in that connection, I saw myself going to the mountaintop. And on the mountaintop, I viewed a world where wellness was one with all of us. And I saw myself hugging a perceived enemy. And in that instance, in that moment, all my pain and all the differences were washed away. I am so excited to be here. I coach a lot of major league sports in America. And I teach that we need to cooperate and collaborate together so that it's not what I can do, is what we can do together, because there's such strength in our unity. And what an honor it is to be here and feel that in this room. I now know my mission here is way beyond my mission. Nothing to do, whatever I can say, can go to the depth of what I turn over to see. I know with my connections with American television, I'm here to experience this and bring this to more of the world, so that everyone can feel this power of us uniting everywhere on any part of the world. So thank you. I look forward, I will be speaking to you on Sunday, but I look forward to just being here and letting the spirit of this environment flow through me. I am learning every step I take. Thank you.
We are going to get ourselves connected with another great wellness group who are creating wellness to the world, called the CEO Space of United States. Mr. Austine, Mrs. Austine, give a very big hand.
Good morning, good morning. Richard Crawford is our man who is making sure we're connected to, we're going to do something, as Dr. Peter said, very special. Very, very special. They're trying to get it connected now so that we are going to be connected to the United States. Many people come from all over to something called CEO Space. And it will be through the internet that will not only be with them, there'll be many there, but beyond there'll be people all over the world, that we have an opportunity today to send what we all feel in this room. When I was here yesterday morning, I felt a wave of love come over me. And I want today, this wave of love that you shared with me, to share it freely across the ocean. It will start as a ripple here, but will be a big wave when it lands in the United States. So we start off at some point when we introduce some of the people that will be talking to the people at CEO Space. When I have the cameras turned, I will say, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And we will create a way that those around the world who are watching will feel the love generated from Chennai, India. We've had a little difficulty in the technology, but you know, it all works perfectly. We allow it to. This is a wonderful group of people here in this room that we want to celebrate your graduation into CEO Space, because you're graduating from a world of competitiveness and loneliness into a world of CEO Space family of cooperation and collaboration, where everything is possible. We have wonderful people here that we want to wish you all the best. And we want to start, before I even bring up some of the names and the people that you will know from CEO Space instructors, but the wonderful people in this room have a special gift to give to you. And I want them to start that. It's going to start as a ripple, but it will turn into a wave that will flush over you. And you will feel the love in such a way that the wellness of one, you will know it deep within your soul and your heart. So can we all here please reach out to CEO Space in Lake Tahoe, California, in America, with our love you, 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 love you. Bernie, I'm going to say it over so you can speak, but I want to know that you had to feel that in the room, and then we'll introduce others here. But I'll say over so that you can speak to the people here.
Dear Norman, we all love you. Thank you for coming with us today on this great occasion of the World Wellness Women's Congress. All of us here are so excited to listen to you and to see all of you as CEO Space. We all know wellness is oneness, and CEO Space is exactly doing by a collaboration and cooperation. Wellness is oneness. We all together tell the people, the wellness warriors of CEO Space, I love you all together. Together, I love you.
Say something to you. We'll start here. As you can see behind me, I've got my wife Kathy, who you all know. I've got Cindy Anthony, Roger Anthony. Do you want to come up and say just hello to everyone back there? They're missing you, I know.
Hi friends and family at CEO Space. What a blessing it is to be able to speak to you halfway around the world. To be able to know and understand that the world is changing, and people like Bernie Dorman and Bob Proctor and wonderful great minds around the world are capturing the spirit of love and the spirit of peace that comes only through basing our lives on integrity, and integrity brings forth the spirit of cooperation and collaboration and living in communities around the world that enable us to bring peace into this world and help bring an equilibrium of joy and harmony where we live together as one. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak for these few moments, and grateful for all my friends there at CEO Space, Nicholas Aldestani and the Jubilee team. What a blessing it is to know them and to be here in India speaking to you from a forum of love, true love, where we are all joining together around the world to share the spirit of truth and harmony and light and power. And I thank you, Bernie, my brother, for what you have come through in your life and the sacrifices that you have made, because you truly are a warrior of peace through the spirit of collaboration and cooperation and building communities that care and share to help bring this world into harmony with the universe. Thank you all.
Here's the face that you just saw earlier in the week. I'm going to put the headset, hold on for a second, or you just speak through this. Say hello back to your friends.
Hello everybody, congratulations. I know it is your graduation day. I am so glad for you. I know I saw you early this week. I was there between Thursday and Monday. And I'm back here now in India, continuing the journey for wellness. I miss you all. I am so happy and proud, and I'd like to tell you one thing. It all started at CO Space. When I met Dr. P.I. Peter in Montreal, Canada, last year and introduced him to CO Space, it was the beginning. And in Lake Tahoe, it was in Lake Tahoe at CO Space in December that Dr. P.I. Peter met everybody from CO Space who is here on stage today. So it all started there. We're on the journey for wellness. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you, Bernie. And we're all sending you the love. We are really in the journey of wellness all together. Congratulations. I'd like to thank May, my daughter, for holding the space behind the stage for Super Teacher. Congratulations.
To come up for a second and give their blessings to you.
Hi everyone. It is so exciting to be here in India and also see our family back in Tahoe. We miss you as longtime founders of CEO Space, and not being their mentors, not being there is very difficult for us. And at the same time, we're so glad we're here to be able to share the love of CEO Space with new people in a new country. Happy graduation.
Hello everyone there at Tahoe. This is Richard Crawford, film producer, director. I've been with CEO Space for 9 years, and it's been a tremendous blessing because we all have to learn how to do business, how to create our dreams, how to get the capital to make the dreams come true so that we can serve all the people. And I recognize all of you here who are at this conference who have made a commitment to yourselves and to the world that you're going to stand up for wellness, to create one-to-one. So this is the heart and soul of CEO Space. And all you there at CEO Space, just know that this is a continuing process. You need to come back. You need to be in this process continually. The challenges are there, but you all have solutions to peace, health, wellness, and oneness. And we join with our friends here at Chennai and all of you at CEO Space and say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard and Sally. We have another guest here that is, I know Bernie, you know him well. I know there were many, many nights that you both got together to dream up what's happening now. Did you ever think it would take place quite like this? But I want to bring now Mr. Bob Proctor.
Hello there, Bernie. And here I want to welcome everybody and say I love you. You know, Bernie, I was sitting thinking, it was 20 years ago, we talked about cooperation and international cooperation. It was 20 years ago that you came from the United States to Canada, and CEO Space started with the two of us in the Laurentian Mountains. That seems like a long time ago. And tonight, I'm here in India because of CEO Space. You introduced me to Dr. Peter, and you're there in Tahoe with the graduating class. I want to congratulate all the graduates of CEO Space. You know, thousands of people have gone through CEO Space, preparing them to go out and build a business and make a difference in the world. And I have got together with Bernie, and the two of us are going to be working on a program for May that's going to take CEO Space to a new dimension. That's something we've planned, something we're going to do, and we're doing it in cooperation with each other. So I want to congratulate all of you. If you're at CEO Space, you can hear me. Make up your mind, you're going to be there in May, and you're going to bring one other person with you. I think we have to go out and we have to multiply, And we have to let the world know that cooperation is the only way, that competition is a thing of the past. And we're cooperating now, working together. And Bernie, I want to congratulate you for the great job you've done. I've certainly enjoyed working at this for the last 40 years, 20 years with you in CEO Space. And it's a pleasure to be here taking part in Dr. Peter's Wellness Women's Congress here in Chennai. Thank you.
Bernie, we love you. I love you all. I will see you in May. We look forward to that. But it was so moving for us. I hope you felt the waves of love coming from this part of the world. Know that we need to keep this wave flowing, wave after wave after wave. So when you leave CEO Space, pass it on, and pass it on to another, and then pass it on to another. So it grows and grows, and we connect like this with everything that you're doing, Dr. Peter. Thank you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the people here and those back in America and all those on the internet worldwide. We bless you.
Thank you, Bernie, for your great support, great wishes and greetings. And I want to thank the entire team who come to India from CEO Space for this great occasion, creating a real connection of love and care for each other, creating your collaboration and cooperation as reality in this world. Thank you, Dave, for creating, connecting this entire program with all the difficulties you had with the connectivity, and I want to thank Richard and Sally for the great job they have done, and my loving wishes to each and everyone at the CEO Space at Tau. Love you, and love you. We are with you, the wellness family, forever in life till we create the world of wellness. Love you.
Thank you, thank you. What an honor it is to be in this energy, in this space. I have felt and received and given more love in the last few days than I even knew was possible. When I go back to the United States, I am born again into a new love. And every time you say you love me, I am willing and able to pass that on because I feel it so deep within me. So wherever I speak around the world, I will take a piece of you with me. I will take a piece with you and pass it on. I am so grateful that I get an opportunity to speak to people. It's a gift that I thank God every day. And in America, we're developing a television show so that it's called Ordinary to Extraordinary. And on my journeys, I get a chance to travel around the world to find those people that are ordinary, just like me, just like you, no different. They're just doing extraordinary things. They have said yes to the mission that they have felt in their heart, and they have passionately moved it forward. Last night, this stage up here, when you all went home in the middle of the night, turned into a TV studio. And I had the privilege of interviewing Dr. Peter, and you'll all get a chance at some time to see that, because he's doing extraordinary things. But what I want to talk to you now is, and before I even talk about Gary, who we're going to be on for a moment, I want to introduce you just to stand. First of all, my partner in the show and in our work, Dr. Roger Anthony. Just say hello. And you haven't seen them really, other than when they came on stage with me yesterday, but Richard and Sally Crawford. In America, and American television, hold on, we don't want to clap yet, Richard. You missed your cue. I didn't snap and say, action. In America, the highest award you can be given, the highest award you can be given in American television is an Emmy. Richard and Sally Crawford not only have won the Covenant Emmy Award, they have won it 4 times. Mr. Richard and Sally Crawford, action. Now, I had the privilege of all we're going to get to share right now with the gentleman that was on my show, our show. Almost said mine. It's not mine. It's not mine. It's our show. All of you now are part of that show. It's beyond us 4. You're all part of Ordinary to Extraordinary. But we had a chance to meet Mr. Gary Davis. And you're all going to get a chance to meet Mr. Gary Davis. Some of you, I think he's been here maybe before. A remarkable man that has turned his life over to his passion so deeply rooted. He's been willing to walk and march a life that many aren't willing to go. But because of what he's willing to do, he is touching thousands upon thousands. So before we hook into America, where I believe Gary is in Washington, D.C., we're going to get a chance, right, to talk to him. I want to show you a segment of our show when I interviewed Mr. Gary Davis.
You know, this whole show is about ordinary to extraordinary, right? Your life has not been an ordinary life, I will tell you that. I mean, you're an actor, a singer. Something, you know, that you're expressing life in its fullest form and letting that creativity come out, and all of a sudden, you're in a bomber plane. You're flying over Germany and you're dropping bombs. When did you have the moment? What was it? Can you take us back to that moment where you just went, this is not right?
When you're in a war situation, you're carried along on that stream of, you know, we're the good guys and they're the bad guys, and nothing prepared me for that. Nothing prepared me to be a national soldier, you know. I was an actor, as you say. And then I said to myself, well, if I have to be in the war, I want to learn how to fly. They're going to teach me how to fly. And that's put me in that B-17 finally. And the moment comes when the bombardier says, bombs away. And this is real. You know, suddenly it became real to me. Suddenly I'm doing something which to me was contrary to everything that I knew. It's only afterwards that you realize, in fact, afterwards when you see what you did. When the pictures come out and you see, my God, did I do that? This is incredible. How could I do that? You know, who am I now? And you go through a whole epiphany of, I have a new identity. I didn't even realize it at that moment. And I think that's what happens to soldiers. And when they pull that trigger, you know, as one guy said, they get a hole in their soul. And that's what happened to me. I'm not here to kill. I'm here to make people happy. You know, I'm an entertainer. And then the next day comes, and you're going out again.
And then from that, a passion was building in you that you felt so strong you had to make a change. You weren't going to just be an ordinary, say, citizen, so to speak, and say, well, this is just the way life is. We have to accept it. We have to do it because this is how it's meant to be. Something in you, with all these, everything you just told us, triggered in you to say, I need to step up.
Because it was 1945, after Second World War, the Cold War starts. The Cold War starts between the United States and the Soviet Union. And that was the final war. I said, they're doing it again. They're starting World War III, really. The beginning of the Cold War. I said, what did we do in the Second World War? We thought it was the end of the war, the good war, you know? And yet it's all starting again. I said, I'm out of this game. I'm out. I'm not going to play this game anymore. This is not me.
Can we just take a moment? Because I want people to know what you were willing to do. You had to go through a lot.
wasted up. The night he stood in for the ailing Danny Kaye, he brought down the house, getting 13 curtain calls. Then the world went mad. Families were ripped apart. His brother was killed in action. Gary enlisted, eager to bomb Hitler's war factories. But then he was ordered to bomb a city full of civilians. Horrified at the carnage, he was enraged at the war system. Sure that there must be a better way to run our world, he set off to right the wrongs and prevent World War III. He gave up Broadway and made the whole world his stage. He dared to interrupt the squabbling of nations, to demand that the UN hold worldwide elections of a global Congress to outlaw war and make peace. 20,000 war-weary Europeans rallied with him to demand that the world recognize the rights of humanity.
Illusion sur les difficultés que nous attendons. Mais nous devons choisir entre les difficultés et les massacres de la guerre. Moi, j'ai choisi.
The very next day, the UN unanimously passed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. With that authority, Gary then staged the most audacious performance of all. He declared a government of, by, and for the people of the world. He gave up his United States citizenship to raise his allegiance to the global level. He became the first official world citizen. His new government issued IDs, marriage licenses, and passports. Nations first rejected them and locked Gary up for failing to have national papers. But amazingly, hundreds of thousands began to register as world citizens. Nations around the globe began to stamp the world passports. Thousands of refugees and detainees, incarcerated for years for lack of identity papers, obtained world passports, and for many, freedom. Today, Gary Davis still stands up for a world most people can only dream about. A world in which humanity is united. A future in which we free ourselves from the scourge of war and oppression. A world in which we are one. The Gary Davis story.
I feel like collaboration, cooperation is not just something that we talk about, it has to be. If we're going to survive, as I listen to you. So part of what I feel, and you can correct me here, what you're doing is getting everyone to collaborate together for a better human being.
You have your passport we did?
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course.
World passport. It looks like any other passport.
It's the real passport.
Haven't you been put in prison?
34 times.
34 times?
Yeah. All over the world.
One man. Can one person make a difference in this world?
That's the key. Because the word citizen is a word which describes you as a sovereign human being with rights and with duties within that framework which you've defined. And you claim it. It's coming up on the 60th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everybody's supposed to sign it. We say, no, don't sign it. Act on it. Claim it.
Again, as we started, I thank you. I thank you for being willing to make a difference in something that you believe so thoroughly in, and marching through everything you've marched through to making a difference today that will go on beyond Gary Davis.
If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
8,382 miles from you all, from the, in a horizontal way, but actually My voice now is going up about 1,000 kilometers and traversing halfway around the world and coming down to you. And that is what I call kind of a vertical speech. And it fits into an amazing fact of our world. On the 20th of March, we experienced what is called the equinox. Now, I suppose you know what the equinox is. It's when the Earth is in complete equilibrium with the sun. In other words, the sun is directly in line with the equator. And this is a moment, it happens twice a year, and it's called the equinox, and I thought it was a beautiful way of considering a lesson to all of us on the earth, because I am a world citizen, as you probably know. I declared myself a world citizen a number of years ago, way back in 1948. Before that, 69 years before that, or 69 years from now rather, I was on a Broadway stage in New York. I was a professional actor, and then 65 years ago, I found myself in a B-17 flying over Germany and dropping bombs on human beings. Well, the contrast between being an actor, entertaining people, making them laugh, and being a warrior for a nation state forced me to revise who I was. What was my identity in this world? Well, 61 years later, or before rather, actually I decided that my identity was to try to reverse the idea of war, because war at this point had become total. The World War started back in 1914, as you know, and I was part of World War II. And as of August 5th, 1945, we entered into a completely different age, the nuclear age. Einstein himself, who developed the equation E equals mc squared, said that now we must eliminate war, or war will eliminate us. So I decided that that was the only mission that I could address myself to. My brother had been killed in World War II, which was a prime motivation for me to devote my life to the idea of world peace. But what is world peace in individual terms? And that's what I want to devote myself here tonight to, because instead of making a speech, I would like to make peace, world peace, with each one of you in this audience. And it's very easily done. We seem to think that peace has to do with nations. Well, let me tell you, there is no human right to wage war. But every nation claims that right. And that disturbed me greatly. And I wondered why that every nation pretends to be the savior of its own particular citizens. Well, it's very simple if you look at the world as one. Today, as we talk, there is the space station, revolving around the earth every 90 minutes at 11,000 miles an hour. And their view is what I call the vertical view. They see the world as it is, no frontiers. 70% water, the rest land on which we all live, onto which we are born, and from which we all depart. This is the reality. So what is peacemaking? Well, peacemaking is so simple because it's people that make peace with each other. Nations cannot make peace with other nations because between nations there is what is called anarchy. In other words, anarchy is the breeding ground of war. But we, the people, you, hearing my voice, wherever you are sovereign and have the right of political choice. And that is the meaning of the nuclear age. That is what Einstein meant. Very famous statement of Einstein is that everything has changed except our way of thinking. Well, you are listening to one who has claimed to be a world citizen. That is all I am. I live in the world, and what I want to do with every single one of you is to make peace with you tonight. As an act, as a contract. And it can be done very simply because if each one of the people hearing my voice, and I'm sure that you've already done so, thinks of yourself as a world citizen, then we have made a contract between us. Have we not made world peace between us now, tonight, as our sovereign right? You know, in 1948, and I was in Paris at the time, having declared myself a world citizen, and we set up a registry of world citizens and registered 750,000 human beings throughout the world. And the General Assembly of the United Nations had settled in Paris for 3 months. Now, for 3 years, they set up a committee to define our rights as human beings. Why did they do that? Well, because the Charter of the United Nations itself mentions human rights 17 times. But there was no charter when the nations formed the United Nations, so they set up this commission. Eleanor Roosevelt was the chairperson of the commission. She was the delegate, actually, of the United States. And for 3 years, there was meeting after meeting after meeting to define our human rights. The people there at that meeting were specialists in human rights. They were not diplomats. And that declaration had to be proclaimed on the 10th of December 1948 while the General Assembly was in Paris at the time. But we were there. We were there as world citizens, and on the 9th of December, we held a meeting. We held a huge meeting. It took us 4 days to organize the meeting, and 20,000 people showed up. It was at the Madison Square Garden of Paris, called the Velodrome d'Hiver. And we were talking about us as the sovereign people of the world. Well, the communist bloc in the United Nations was not going to vote yes to human rights. So there was a crisis within the General Assembly of the United Nations. But because of the meeting that we had held on the 9th of December, the whole communist bloc decided not to vote, but simply to abstain. And therefore, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was proclaimed unanimously by the rest of the General Assembly. Now I hope that each one of you here has read and even not memorized, but at least recognized what that Universal Declaration of Human Rights means today. The first article, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They're endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. They should have added sisterhood, of course. But it went on. There are 30 articles, and one of the two other main articles which I invoke tonight and join tonight, one is Article 21, Section 3, which says the will of the people. The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. My dear friends, that's us. And what does that mean? It means that we, the people, are sovereign, not the nations. The nations are political fictions, which are carryovers from another age. My first trip to India was at the invitation of Guru Nataraja of Travancore. He invited me because he said we must refine the Ellsworth Declaration, which you proclaimed on September 4th, 1953, of world government. Now, Nataraja was the Parampara disciple of the beloved Sri Narayana Guru. And I studied with him for 3 months. And then he said, go see Pandit Nehru. And I said, what shall I say to Pandit Nehru? He says, ask him for his blessing. I said, well, Pandit Nehru calls himself an agnostic. And the Guru said, no. Any man will give you his blessing if you're doing a good work. And I did. I went to New Delhi. I walked into the office of Pandit Nehru. I was wearing a South Indian dhoti and a juba, and I carried a bit of a little basket of fruit. And I walked in and he said, oh, now, he looked at me very strangely. He saw this white face with a dhoti, a South Indian dhoti. He didn't know what to make of it. Anyway, to make this long story short about this, I showed him the first world passport, which I have with me. I have to keep my hand on this control button, but I can't show it to you. But anyway, it was the first world passport, and I had prepared one for him. And I showed him that world passport, and on the passport was a visa from India, which had been taken from an affidavit in lieu of a passport. And he looked at me and he said, oh, very clever, Mr. Davis. And he laughed. And I said, Mr. Prime Minister, I have read so much about you. I read your books and so forth. And I know that Mahatma Gandhi was the father of this nation, and he was an advocate of world government. So I would like to present you with an honorary world passport. And I did, and he accepted it. He opened it up and he saw his picture. He says, where did you get this picture? It was a lovely picture. A revolutionary Pandit Nehru. I said, this picture is in every single home in India. It's very easy to find. Anyway, that was the first passport. That was the first passport that I had traveled with, and I've been to India a number of times, except for this time. And that is why I'm talking to you from 8,000 miles away. But the making of world peace, to go back, is very simple. You and I, if you agree to be world citizens, to identify yourselves as world citizens, which is your sovereign right, and proclaimed as in that Declaration of Human Rights, which I just mentioned, then we have made what is called a contract between us. We have decided that we are going to be at peace with each other. Now, if you're a world citizen and I'm a world citizen, are we not then making world peace? And because we have today instant communication, and the proof of this is that I'm speaking to you from 8,000 miles away, and this is banal. We know this can happen. Your young children are sitting at their computers daily, opening up the internet, going online, getting the information all over the world, etc. We pick up the 7 o'clock news every night. We have entertainment, the wonderful entertainment of Slumdog Millionaire, which is went worldwide and won the Oscars and so forth. It is an example of the fact that the world is one today. It is not divided into nations. The nations are carryovers from another age. We are now in the industrial, electronic, nuclear, and space age. So I claim that I have, if you do, and I do, exercise our right of freedom of choice, which is the meaning of sovereignty, and say we are making tonight a contract with us, a contract between us. We are peaceful. And to me, that is what this Congress is all about. Wellness means everybody's wellness. It just doesn't mean women or men or blacks or whites or Palestinians or Jews or Hindus or Muslims. It means we as human beings, and that is what my message is tonight. And I greet you all, and I'm very honored and delighted to be with you, and I hope to meet you someday in person. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye-bye. Yes, I can hear you.
Gary, thank you very much for all the time, and I know you have moved from...
I hear you, yes.
Okay, I know you have moved from Vermont to Montreal now. Thank you very much for all the trouble you went in. I'm going to introduce one of your friends in here, if they can...
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. And also I give, as you were wishing, another passport for Madame Teresa. I presented to her, to her, and also I will pass it on with a friend which you have interviewed a couple of years ago. I will give the microphone to him and we can talk to him.
Gary, this is David Austine. So good to see you. So we got a chance to show the show that you and I did together just this past December, not 2 years ago. They all got to see you, Gary. You have blessed us all, so we'd like to bless you right now. I'd like to have the whole room, look, we did yesterday for Mr. Gary Davis. I want it to start as a ripple, and it's going to come away with those 8,000 miles.